I think before we even start getting into the Section 30 of the Public Service Act of 1995, let's set the context in talking about what necessitated such a provision.
Well, I think what necessitated this kind of provisions in the Act is that you have to be in line with the Constitution that all Namibians, all citizens, have the right, to political platforms. Their political rights. I think the lawmakers didn't want to, to divert or to contravene, the Constitution. That's why I think it was, inserted, so that you provide such rights to, public servants.
I mean, we have been reading over the past few months that a lot of the prospective parliamentarians who are going into Parliament to be sworn in have not resigned. How true are these claims?
Well, if it's being mentioned that they have not resigned, probably it's true, because those who have resigned we are aware of. I think the Secretary to Cabinet, and also, although we are a parastatal at the university, our colleague from the university, Ita Kanji Murangi. So the rest, who are they? Maybe they are teachers, they are public servants, they are permanent secretaries, they are directors, I don't know.
What would be some of the reasons for not wanting to resign?
Yeah, we are dealing with a bureaucracy, but it's something that we have not really, discussed as a country. Some of us, like in the teaching public, administration, maybe we are at fault. We have not really managed to, to bring forth the issues of bureaucracy. But why haven't they resigned? When you create rules and regulations in any setting, you are going to create a certain culture. That culture should be built on certain principles, beliefs, traditions, and so on and so on. Now, if you start with a law that public servants will resign, and you don't harmonize that law with some of the issues, within some of the arrangements within the political environment, maybe social, economic. One of those issues are, this guy or this person will be out of work for the next 4 months. Elections were in November, and they will be sworn in March. You need to put a resignation notice. Sometimes the law maybe says 1 month, I don't know, 3 months or something like that. Now you are elected on the, on the 28th of, on the 29th, when were they, I think on the 29th of November. And then you are expected to resign maybe the following day. And you still have about 3 months to go, for you to be in office. We understand the issues in this country. Some of these people have been employed for a couple of years. They have not even generated enough pensions or enough income. So there are many economic and other issues that
But what you're saying then is that there's no administrative function to allow, to cater for the transition for people becoming into Parliament, and I think there is a disjuncture there in terms of,
right.
okay, but I think one of the newspapers this morning was talking about a clear distinction between a civil servant and how the Act appropriates them, and a public office bearer, which is actually a difference. For instance, Saki Shangala, working for the LRDC, stated in the newspaper that he doesn't have to resign because the Act does not or mandate him to do so. Is that a fair distinction that we have between a public service or public office bearer and a civil servant?
Yeah, okay, there is a distinction. I don't know what he's talking about, but he is not a, he's a public servant, as far as I'm concerned. Kapofi is a public servant, with the permanent secretary, the permanent secretaries, they are public servants. Others are political office bearers. So they are already in politics. So that's a distinction. You are a minister, maybe you are a governor, You know, I heard the story like
Yes.
governor doesn't have to resign.
Yes.
You know, it's a political office bearer, you know, was appointed. And so on. Some have been elected, you know, some appointed. You become a political
is that
office
fair,
bearer.